Welcome back to another video. We're out here at Staten Island Airfield, and today I want to give a quick update on my Skylite, which is that 3.5-inch Skyliner, mini Skyliner frame from Rotor Riot. Currently have it built up with a Hypershot 15 07.5 motors, running gem fan 3.5-inch props. That whole song and dance, I think it's sitting right here. And I have made some changes to it. So today I want to fly it, I want to get it up in the air, have some fun, and give my experience so far with the frame and what I think I'm going to do with that frame next. Is it going to stick around? I'll let you know in a minute. Let's get up in the air. Let's get at it. 3.5-inch really has become my favorite class of quadcopter, especially when you've got these little high performance 3.5 inches like the Skylite that I've built up. It flies a lot like a 5-inch, but as you can hear, you can't hear because it's quiet. And so if I'm gonna go fly a park, or I just wanna go fly somewhere and just enjoy the meditative nature of flying FPV, the 3.5-inch really is a special bird. And I really like the way it flies and the way it feels, because I can do the same tricks, the same gaps, the same dives. I just make less noise, and it's a more relaxing, tranquil experience. And also, this is running on 6S, if you noticed, because it does move like a bullet. The Skylite so far has been a great frame. It flies really well. It's really, really good. It's pretty durable overall. And I would recommend it if you're looking for a good 3.5-inch frame, especially one that's versatile, because you can technically turn this into a ducted Cinewhoop. It is a great option, and it's relatively inexpensive. And I think Rotor Riot did a good job of miniaturizing what I loved about the Skyliner into this little compact freestyle package. Now that brings us on to the stuff that I don't necessarily like as much. And let's start out going back to that durability piece. While I haven't really broken a whole lot on this frame, I've had a lot of issues with the arms moving. With only one bolt on each arm and not having like a key system like some of the other freestyle frames do, like the Impulse RC Apex and similar, the arms tend to move. Before I flew here, I actually had to pry the two arms apart so the blades wouldn't come in contact with each other. It's kind of annoying. If you have a crash, you generally have to go and pull the arms apart again, and it just doesn't feel sturdy. Obviously, it's not an issue unless you crash, or in transport, I've had it slide a little bit on me. But overall, it has been a fantastically durable frame. It just has that one little quirk. And I am running this battery way too low. Whoops. Okay. And as we walk out to unplug the quad, as we ran it a little too low, plug it, and there we go. All good, all fine. Overall, it's a relatively minor gripe about the arms moving. I did actually for a while run the brace that you'd use to put the ducts on this drone. I cut basically the little nubs off the end of it and used it as a brace to keep the arms apart. Not a perfect solution. It did add a bunch of weight. But since taking the GoPro mount off of this, and also I even trimmed the battery mount a little bit, I have loved flying that quad. It's probably one of my favorite 3.5 inches. The Emax Baby Hawk HD is probably my absolute favorite, because that thing just flies fantastic out of the gate. No muss, no fuss, it just works. So if I had to recommend a 3.5 inch, Emax Baby Hawk HD if you can find it. If you want to build up something that's a little tougher, a little bit more durable, Skylite. In addition to the arms moving, one other issue I've had with the overall build of the frame is I have had the camera cage on the front start to loosen. I actually took a little bit of electrical tape and used it to kind of shim the camera mount on the front up a little bit, and now it's rock solid, but it did loosen up on me and there was no real way to tighten it down. It was just kind of free floating, so I was getting a little jiggle and jello in my FPV feed, which obviously is pretty unacceptable. Those really have been my main complaints with it. The arms loosening and that camera cage loosening up front. Other than that, it has been a rock solid frame and it has been super fun to fly and a great little addition to my normal FPV kit. If you missed the first video where I built up this quad, it has a Caddx Nebula Pro camera up front, Caddx Vista in the back. It has Hypershot 1507.5 motors at 3920 kV, so they're fast little guys. I run it on 6S with a motor limit, and then I run it normally on 4S, just all out, letting it eat. It used to have a good DJI Action 2 mount up front. I've since taken that off because I really want this to be a freestyle kind of basher quad, and it's been super fun now that it's been a little bit lighter. It is now sub 250 grams. With that DJI Action on, obviously it exceeds 250 grams if that is important to you. Overall, I think the build and setup here is really good. If I'm gonna go out and about and I don't wanna just bring those tiny whoops with me, I will actually throw those two 3.5-inch quads, the Emax Baby Hawk and the Skylite, on the back of my backpack. They're great little quads to have with me. They're super quiet, super discreet, and really fun. And the HD feed that comes out of it is good enough. Obviously you saw this earlier in this video. It's good enough to post to social, almost good enough for YouTube. Obviously both of those can carry HD cameras, the lighter the better. But I think what makes those quads really special is that lightweight freestyle characteristic. They fly like a 5-inch. They're super fun, they're super aggressive, and they're quiet, they're discreet. They don't make a ton of noise, they don't draw a ton of attention, and they can let you fly what feels like a big drone in places that you may not have been able to fly before. So if you've never flown a 3.5-inch before, please give it a try. Find a friend who's willing to let you fly theirs. I promise you it's super fun, and it's been one of my favorite categories to get into. Part of that too is it's less expensive than flying 5-inch or 7-inch. And there's just less risk, there's less complication, it's just easier, more relaxing. And for me, flying FPV, a lot of it is that relaxation and that meditation of flight. So it really, really does scratch that itch pretty well. Before we close this out, I don't think that Skylite is gonna stay as it is for very long. BotGrinder's about to roll out his DemiBot Mini, and I am hankering to switch that frame up. In part because of those arms are a little bothering, in part because those arms are bothering me a little bit, but also I'm just ready to switch it up, try something a little different, try something new, and try a more aggressive 3.5-inch freestyle frame, because the more I start to push that, the more I'm kind of finding its limits, and I want something that will really let me turn it up that last little bit. Most likely what I'll do is I'll swap all of the parts that are on that Skylite over to the DemiBot frame and see how she flies. When that mini DemiBot frame drops, I will let you guys know, and I will be posting a review, so definitely stay tuned to this channel for that. Down below in the comments, let me know if you've ever flown 3.5-inch and what was your experience. Did you love it? Did you hate it? What did you love? What did you hate? As always, if you like the video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Let you know when new videos drop. I am gonna start an FPV beginner's guide series where I go through and give you not only kind of my tips and tricks for each individual part of flying FPV, but also I'm going to include some glossary terms, because FPV is littered with acronyms. It's literally in the name, FPV. Acronyms are such a big part of it that I want to help people who are getting into it get that head start, get started, and do it the right way, so you don't have to buy a bunch of stuff that you never need, or buy a bunch of stuff that you have to replace because you've outgrown it. But that's for neither here nor there. That'll be in the next video. As always, thank you for joining me. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.